Hello and welcome back to First Round TV. I'm thrilled to say I'm joined by Andy Lee. By the way, just very quickly, this is just very topical about his man Hamzah Sheeraz and Edgar Belanga that's coming up. The long form one that you don't even know that you're doing yet is going to come out soon. And how are you, mate? Enjoying your time in New York?
Yeah, I've been here well over a week now, settled in, got used to the time zone and the climate, everything's good.
How long before did you come out?
You know, back in my day, we'd come out on the Wednesday before the fight on the Saturday. You know, really, some days if you're lucky, the Monday.
Yeah.
But Hamza's been out here a week and a half before the fight week, and I came out the Monday, the week before the fight week. I don't know if you can make that make sense, but so I've been here. By the time fight time comes, it'll be over 2 weeks.
Right, your charge, Hamzah Sheeraz, your first camp with Hamza. How's camp gone? How's it been training with Hamza?
Effortless, really.
Really?
Effortless. He's followed my words and training to a T, really, and hasn't strayed from my guidance, so which is good. He's got one thing about Hamza is he's got one of the best support teams in what I've seen from many of the fighters I've worked with. He's probably got the best support team. So usually I'm doing a million jobs: the manager's job, the physio's job, the conditioner's job, the nutritionist's job. But he's got all those guys, and they're all really good at their jobs. So I've been able to focus on the boxing and just tell those guys what I need and what help we need. And it's been very easy.
Does it ever surprise you, Anne, when you get a phone call from a fighter saying, look, you know, if you've got any space, would you fancy training me? Does it ever surprise you?
To be honest with you, it's always flattering. And in some ways, you're embarrassed to have to say no to them. You know, you kind of feel terrible because you would like to do help them, and you know you could help them, but there's just not time or space. But with Hamza, I knew how much he could improve, you know, and I knew the potential there that's for him as a fighter, but also as a star. You know, he could be if things go well for him, he could be one of the faces of boxing, and it's a whole different market, and it's a whole different culture for me to experience as well. You know, as when you're training these fighters, you know, you got Joseph Parker, who's Samoan, New Zealand, Ben Whittaker from Birmingham, Olympian, and devout Christian, Paddy Donovan, Irish traveller, Catholic, you know what I mean? And then you got Hamza now, who's devout Muslim, Pakistani from London, now living in Dubai. All these, it's just an experience, you know what I mean? And you're going from one to the next and spending time with them, learning their culture and learning. It's just a great experience. Not that comes into play when you think about them as fighters. You just think about what's their potential as fighters and where they can go. And listen, I'd love to be able to train a lot more, but just you're limited. And for me, it's about quality over quantity and the time you can put in with them.
What was your opinion on the Adames fight with Hamza? Obviously, you've watched it and studied it. What was your opinion?
I didn't really watch it too much, Darren, to be honest with you. No, I watched it live that night in the dressing room, and to be honest with you, probably thought, oh yeah, he's probably lost that. But then when there was a draw, I said, well, you know, what it showed me is that he's tough.
Yeah.
He's even one of the best fighters in the world. The best in the division, maybe not him and Janabek. Adames and Janabek, probably the two best in the division. And Hamza hung in there with him for 12 rounds.
Balanga, what are your thoughts on him as a fighter? Obviously, you would have seen the Canelo fight, etc. Still very dangerous?
Yeah, he's dangerous and slightly unpredictable, especially early in the fight. I fought him once before with Jason Quigley.
Yeah.
So done a lot of research on him then. And I think because of his personality, he doesn't get the credit he deserves. Even after the Quigley fight, I remember watching a couple of the podcasts and they weren't overly impressed with it, but I was impressed with his jab, impressed with his ability to carry his power for 12 rounds. He's a puncher for 12 rounds. And I think he does, I think he's better. There's a bit more substance behind all the style and the brashness, but and in saying that, he could be perfectly made for Hamza because he is reckless, he is wild, and he does lunge in and he loses his balance. And if Hamza can be patient, and I think if Hamza can get through to control himself and control Berlanga for the first 2 rounds. Then once you get those first 2 rounds out, then it's a fight.
Yeah.
And I think anything can happen after that.
Is there any options, when the fight's presented to you, the likes of Balanga? Is it like, take it or leave it? That's it?
It kind of came about where I agreed to train Hamza. There was no fight really in place. Then there was like, he could have fought in the UK on the undercard of Dubois or Usyk.
Right.
And had just a comeback fight, just a so-so opponent. But he was presented with Berlanga from the Ring magazine, Turkey Al Sheikh, I think, put it to him directly, and he was well up for it. And he was excited by it. It was like the challenge he needed. When if you fought for the world title, and then you got to come down and fight somebody else, somebody who's just below that, and you're talking the fight up yourself. Whereas now, he doesn't have to do any talk. Like, the fight sells itself, doesn't it? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everyone can see what's at stake here. 2 young fighters in their prime going at it, top of the bill in New York City. So there's no bigger challenge than that. And as a fighter, they're the fights you want to be in.
Yeah.
So his response to when Balanga was put to him told me all I need to know. That was the fight we had to take, and I was happy for the challenge, and he's happy for the challenge.
He's been very vocal, hasn't he, Balanga, even towards yourself? What do you make of that?
I don't know. I think it's crazy, but I'm glad of it. It's funny. I like the attention, but I don't know. I don't know why he's targeting me for.
Yeah, exactly. Of all the people to target.
Anyway, I like it, and I like him, and I think he's good for the game. We need characters like this, and I think ticket sales skyrocketed yesterday after they had that bit of a face-off, and it's only going to get more fun now as the week goes on.
How does he get the job done, Hamza?
I think he has to be composed, calm in the storm. He's got an unbelievable left hand, Hamza. His jab is phenomenal. His left hook is very powerful. He's lifting people off the ground and sparring with his left hand alone.
Really?
So I think he just needs to be unpredictable with his jab and let him Berlanga come and walk him on. I think that's the way it'll go.
What's your opinion as far as is this just get the job done, win, or does Hamza need to make a statement?
No,
Saturday night?
I think winning is the statement, isn't it? In any way, you're coming into somebody's home turf. You're coming off a tough draw, and people are questioning you. And what's the best way to answer those questions? Coming in, fighting one of the best super middleweights in the division, one of the most loudest talking, brash, explosive, power punching guys in the division, and any win is a statement.
He's got the bit between his teeth, from what I can see as well, because I think it's the first time that we've really seen Hamza quite vocal as well.
Yeah,
he's fired up.
He's fired up, and he's very. What I see from day one to now is, he's got something to prove after the last performance, and he's got the steely determination about him, and he's never once failed in the gym. He's never once quit on me, and so I'll give you an example. And this was the day I said to him, "This is the day you're going to do it." So he sparred 10 rounds with 2 or 3 guys in the morning session, and it was grueling, hard day. And I said to him, just tonight's session, we're going to take it off. Just come to the gym. We'll just do a general weights. Me and you will have a bit of fun. We'll just do bench, curl, and get a pump on and have some fun. And came to the gym that evening, and when he got there, I had the leg circuit laid out for him, and he looked at me and said, and I said, "Here we go." I said, "Today's the day." He said, "All right, let's do it." And day one, when we did it, he couldn't do 1 round the leg circuit.
Really?
And that day he did 6 rounds straight through, and beat all his numbers. And the last round was better than the first, so I said, "Today you've done it." And that would show you where he is mentally. And that was just a pure mental challenge, coming in thinking you're expecting an easy session, and all of a sudden he's got a hard night. So
just very quickly, last one on Hamza. Do you believe? I don't know, you've only been with him a short time. Do you think he would have underachieved if he doesn't win a world title?
Darren, you know how hard it is to win a world title, and how many great fighters have almost won it and didn't win it. But in saying that, today's boxing is not like our day, how hard it was even to get the opportunity to fight for the world title, let alone, So I think in this day and age, he should be, with his experience now, 3 years in America with Joe Goosen, and All that experience of the sparring behind him, the fight with Adames, 12 rounds. Listen, we've got a tough challenge on our hands this fight, but if he comes through, then he's definitely a potential champion. Yeah, but do you know it? Only the elite few win a world title.
Yeah.
I think of all the fighters in the world. Let's talk about ourselves again. Yeah.
Moving on to one of your other fighters, and it's been a bit of a frustrating time for one of the most popular heavyweights out there, Joseph Parker. There's been a few names knocking around. When can we expect Joseph Parker up?
Your guess is as good as mine. Really, we were locked in for 3 or 4 different dates over the last while, but and maybe it's prudent. We're gonna have to sit and wait now till see what happens with Usyk and Dubois, because Joe's earned the right to fight for the title.
Right.
And sometimes the best thing to do is to do nothing. Just wait and see. I think people want to see him fight, you know, after his last few performances. And like you said, he's one of the most popular fighters out there. And he's really the last, like him and Caballero are the leading challengers, aren't they? You know, both of them have earned the right. And potentially Joe's a bigger name or better established, haven't been a champion than Caballero. So we'll see. There was talk of Dave Allen, and listen, it would have been a good fight for Joe, just to because you know how valuable it is to keep fighting, and I believe in activity. But it was maybe a hide into nothing because there's no credit in being like, not that if you Joseph. Listen, I know how good Dave Allen is and how tough he is and how crafty he is, and he'd probably end up giving Joe a tough night, and then we'd be like back in the queue again. You know what I mean? So I don't know. If you knocked Dave Allen out in 1 round, people would have been like, oh well, that's what he's supposed to do. But if he went the distance and had a tough fight with Dave Allen, then people would criticize him. So I just want him to fight and to stay active, but he does deserve a world title fight.
Would you put him in with anyone now?
Yeah,
Joe. There's no one.
No. He's ready to. Well, he needs a challenge.
Yeah.
And listen, like I was talking about the challenges. There's nothing left for him to do. The only challenge is the world title now. You know what I mean? He's had Wilder was huge. Zhang was even bigger. Then he had the Dubois, but now he got Piccolo. You know, so what more can he do? You know what I mean? And you got.
And I guess he's been a world champion as well. You want to become that again.
He's financially set for life.
Yeah.
Just needs the belt for the legacy again and the second run as champion, and he deserves it now, and he will be even better this time as champion.
How is Joe? You speak to him.
He's loving life. You know, he is frustrated, but not to the point, because listen, it's one thing not getting fights when you're watching your bank balance every day, but when he's comfortable. He just had a new baby. I think that's number 6. He's got 6 kids, all under the age of 9. So he's been busy, and that keeps him busy. And he's training all the time. So he'll wait and see, you know. But that's all we can do. That's all we can do in this situation.
Final one, big fight next weekend. How do you see Usyk Dubois, the rematch, playing out?
I see it going the same way, unless Usyk's aged overnight. Dubois is probably he's going to be much better prepared this time, because you've been in there once with him, and he's got that confidence of his last three fights since then. Well, 4 fights: Lorena, Miller, you know, Hrgovic and Joshua. So he's in great vein of form. He just needs to carry that momentum and try to come out and steamroll Usyk and try to make him feel every bit his age.
Yeah.
But Usyk's so clever, you know, and so good at disarming people and taking what they have and using it against them. So unless Usyk's age overnight, I will go with Usyk again.
You won't be there, will you?
I've been invited.
You'll be on a plane somewhere when you're on holiday,
I've been invited, but under pressure, under pressure.
And, well, look, from myself, everyone at First Round TV, I hope
Thank you,
Saturday
guys.
goes your way.
Yeah,
All
thank
the best,
you,
mate. Thank you. Cheers.